Hello, everyone. This is Kristen Burke, and I'm the National Marketing Coordinator here within the company at Art Jetter Company. And I wanted to say thank you all for joining our webinar here today. And I see some other folks still getting on. So we'll just take maybe a minute here and just let folks get settled, and then we'll get started. I will mention just a couple housekeeping items before I begin the presentation. On the GoToWebinar panel, you'll see a section that it says questions. So you can type in any questions that you have throughout the presentation, and we will address that during the call or at the end of the call, as all of the lines will remain muted just to help minimize any background noise during the presentation. So, but I'm so glad that you all are here to join us today. It is a little gray day here in Omaha, Nebraska for January. We long to see the sun, so hopefully it's sunny in your part of the country where you're located. But all right, so again, all the lines will be muted, and if you have questions, type that into the question bar, and we will address that at the end. So I'll go ahead and get started, as I know everyone's time is valuable. And today we're going to be talking about really high level, but the basics of Medicare and what all that means. We'll get into that here. So first, looking at Medicare, how did it start? Where did it begin? And what does it consist of? So Medicare is a social insurance program that was established in 1965, and it does provide health coverage to more than 62 million people. And actually, we just saw a stat here recently from CMS that states that it's actually over 65 million. So that number is definitely growing for sure. And the individuals that are on or eligible for Medicare, if you're seeing folks that are under age 65, that would be typically somebody who has a disability, and they automatically get the Part A and the Part B after getting disability benefits from Social Security for 24 months. You may also have individuals who have ALS, and they automatically get A and B of Medicare the month Social Security benefits begin, or individuals who have permanent kidney failure. Where you'll see the majority of the clients and that you'll work with are those individuals that are age 65 and over. That will be just enrolling naturally into Medicare, Social Security, and then they pick up Medicare at that age 65. Now, nearly 10,000 baby boomers are turning 65 each and every day, so that's a huge sales opportunity to work with all of those clients, as they really need some assistance as they make that transition. Now, looking at the components of Medicare, when I mentioned Medicare started in 1965, that is the traditional Medicare, or otherwise known as original Medicare. And what makes up traditional Medicare is the Part A, hospital insurance, and Part B, medical insurance. We'll tap into a little bit more details on that in just a moment. Did want to mention that there's another piece of Medicare. It's called the Part C, or Medicare Advantage plans. Now, it is not linked to traditional Medicare. It's more of an alternative to original Medicare. So we'll talk on that as well. And then the Part D of Medicare, which is a prescription drug coverage. And again, another separate component under the Medicare umbrella. We'll also talk lastly about Medicare supplement plans. And I want to mention it on this slide because Medicare supplement plans fills in the gaps of the Part A and the Part B of Medicare. So we'll get into what that all means here. So Medicare Part A is premium free when beneficiaries or their spouse have 10 years or more of Medicare covered employment. If that individual is receiving Social Security retirement income, they will then receive and automatically get enrolled in the Part A of Medicare at the time in which they turn 65. So you may also run across individuals that have less than 10 years of Medicare covered employment. So they can still pick up the Part A of Medicare, they just need to pay a premium for that. Now, what is the coverage for Medicare Part A? It's going to really cover that hospital, hospital and patient care, skilled nursing, hospice care, and blood. As I mentioned previously, there is some out-of-pocket expenses that are associated with the Part A and the Part B. Now, these figures do change each year. So what the numbers that you see here on the screen are for 2023. These are the out-of-pocket costs associated with Medicare. So if an individual goes into the hospital, they are needing to satisfy that deductible of $1,600. That will cover the first 60 days of their hospital stay. If they are still receiving care in a hospital from the 61st to the 90th day, then they'll have to pay $400 a day. If they are still receiving care in the hospital from the 91st to 150th day, then they are responsible for $800 per day. Any costs, if they are still in the hospital after the 150th day, they are responsible for all costs beyond that. Medicare does cover the first 20 days of skilled nursing care. After that, then the individual from the 21st to the 100th day, they'll have to pay out $200 per day. All costs are their responsibility after that 100th day. Also with hospice care, there is a copay of $5 per outpatient prescription medication and a 5% for the Medicare approved amount for inpatient respite care. And lastly, the individual is responsible for paying for the first 3 pints of blood if need be. Now, I mentioned these numbers can change. They can fluctuate, go up and down, but these are the figures for 2023 for Medicare Part A. And if you only had the Medicare Part A and nothing else. Now, looking at the Part B of Medicare. Now, Part B is the medical insurance portion of Medicare. Unlike Medicare Part A, a monthly premium is required to be paid by that individual. This amount does change each year. So for 2023, the Medicare Part B monthly premium is $164.90. Now, as you can see, that number did go down from 2022, where last year it was $170.10. So that's why I mean it can fluctuate each year. Higher income beneficiaries that are earning more than $97,000 or $194,000 if it's joint income will pay that $164.90 plus an additional amount based on the income related monthly adjustment amount. And we do have a chart if you want to see what that exactly looks like, so we can definitely provide that to you. Also, keep in mind that there is a late penalty. If you don't sign up for Part B when you are first eligible, or if you drop Part B and then pick it up later, or you have to pay then you have to pay a late penalty for as long as you have Medicare. Now that penalty is your monthly premium for Part B may go up 10% for every month for a 12-month time period. So 10% for each full 12-month period that you do not have credible coverage and that you could have picked up Part B but then did not. So at all costs, we strongly recommend that you work with the clients and they pick up the Part A and the Part B at the appropriate times, and that's typically right when they're turning 65 and they're receiving Social Security, that they go ahead and pick up both of those coverages. What's the coverage look for the Part B of Medicare? It consists of doctor services, outpatient care, preventative services, diagnostic tests, some therapies, and durable medical equipment. In addition to the individual's monthly Part B premium, they will also have to pay out an annual deductible. So for 2023, that annual deductible is $226. Once that deductible is satisfied, they would have a 20% coinsurance for most of the services. So just keep that in mind that they have to satisfy that deductible, and then there would be a 20% coinsurance after that has been satisfied. The annual deductible for Part B for 2022 was $233. So here's another example where that premium, that cost went down for 2023, as it's $226 this year. So those are the components of Part A and Part B of Medicare. Now looking at Medicare Advantage, or that Part C of Medicare. Again, it's that alternative to traditional Medicare. It must cover at least what original Medicare covers. In a sense, it's replacing original Medicare, but the client is still responsible to pay that Part B premium. Majority of the plans are a zero premium plan. There are maximum out-of-pocket costs, and then they can enroll only during certain times of the year, or they can switch plans at only certain times of the year. They can't go and change plans mid-year, and we can kind of go through some of those enrollment periods in just a second. Medicare Advantage plans are network-based plans, so it's either going to be an HMO or a PPO. So it's very high level on Medicare Advantage plans. They also do have some value add benefits with Medicare Advantage plans. Some examples are rideshare with Uber, gym memberships, wearable devices that will monitor their health. Industry experts predict that by 2025, it will have a 47% penetration in the market, and that they are seeing that number go as high as 70% in years to follow. So we are seeing a big shift of consumers going to a Medicare Advantage plan. And I think a lot of those little added value adds and those perks are very enticing to those individuals. So we're seeing some growth there. So for many who have not received Social Security benefits when they turn 65 and therefore not automatically enrolled into the Part A and Part B, they can enroll during the initial election period, which is 3 months before the month you turn 65, the month of your 65th birthday, or up to 3 months after. This initial enrollment period also pertains to Medicare Advantage plans and prescription drug plans. If the Medicare beneficiary has credible coverage at the time in which they turn 65, they can decline or in a sense defer the Part B enrollment and enroll when they're losing their credible coverage. So if they have, let's say like a group plan through their employer, they can pick up the Part A and then they will say, I have my group plan, so I'm going to defer the Part B for right now. Once that plan ends, they will then enroll in the Part B of Medicare, and you have 8 months to sign up for that Part B without a penalty. This period will run whether or not you chose COBRA. So if you do have COBRA, don't wait until the end of your COBRA period to enroll in the Part B. You want to get on and start that enrollment in the Part B of Medicare before that COBRA ends, as it is a little bit of a process. If one does not apply for Medicare Part B when they first eligible or qualify for a special enrollment opportunity, they can enroll during the general enrollment period that's listed here on the screen. That's January 1st to March 31st. So we're right now in that general enrollment period. One nice change that we just are experiencing here in 2023 is that if someone enrolls during that general enrollment period, again, January 1st to March 31st, their effective date would be the month following the enrollment. So that's a huge change. It used to be they had to wait for that policy or that to be effective until January 1st. So now it is right immediately the following month of enrollment. So that's definitely a welcome change that we're seeing here. Now talking about the Part D or prescription drug plans. These are offered by private insurance carriers, and there's a premium tied to that. There are tiered drugs and there's co-pays. You can have either a standalone plan or it could be combined with a Medicare Advantage plan. And again, keep in mind, there is a late enrollment penalty with the prescription drug plans that we want to try and avoid at all costs. So Medicare calculates that penalty by multiplying 1% of the national base beneficiary premium. That national base beneficiary premium for 2023 is $32.74. So they take that times the number of full uncovered months you didn't have the Part D or credible coverage. And then the monthly premium is rounded to the nearest 10 cents and added to the monthly Part D premium. So that penalty will be on their policy, on their plan for eternity. So we want to, again, try to avoid any type of late penalties. Even if you're working with a client that is not taking any medications, or maybe they're just on one and they say they don't need a prescription drug plan, you need to stress to them that it is required by Medicare that they pick up a drug plan. Otherwise, they'll get a penalty. So their health can change at any given moment, which then could trigger them to be on more medications. So it's very wise to get them on that drug plan right when they're getting into Medicare, and have that avoid that penalty. Now, those are all the components that make up or fall under the Medicare umbrella, if you will. And I know I mentioned at the very beginning about Medicare supplement plans. And so we're going to focus on them now. Medicare supplement plans cover the gaps in Medicare. So those were the co-pays, deductible, co-insurances that are tied to for Medicare's Part A and Part B. So that's where Medicare supplement plans will come in, and they'll fill in all or a majority of those gaps in Medicare, if you will. As I mentioned, those amounts for Medicare do change each year, and a Medicare supplement plan will also change those new figures too. If someone just has the Part A and the Part B of Medicare, Medicare covers less than half of the beneficiary's total costs. So that's why Medicare supplement plans is huge, and it really helps give that client peace of mind to know that they will, if they need care, that the majority, if not all of their expenses will be covered. So Medicare supplement plans are guaranteed renewable as long as the client continues to pay their premium. And another nice feature with Medicare supplement plans, they can see any provider that accepts Medicare. So there's no referrals needed, no networks that they have to follow. If they're traveling, they're snowbirds, they can see any provider or facility that accepts Medicare. So that gives them great peace of mind with that as well. Now, you may have heard references to the Plan F going away back in 2020. However, this is really not the case. So beginning in 2020, Medicare supplements no longer pay the Part B deductible, which the plans C and F covered that Part B deductible. So in actuality, plans C and F are still being sold, but they're only sold to beneficiaries who were turning 65 prior to January 1st of 2020, or first became eligible for Medicare prior to January 1st of 2020. Regardless of what plan they had previously. So Medicare supplement plans can no longer pay that Part B deductible for newly eligible beneficiaries as of January 1st of 2020. But if you may be working with a client who has been on a Medicare supplement plan for a number of years, and they were on Medicare prior to January 1st, 2020, they still have access to plans C and F. So here is a chart of the plans, the Medicare supplement plans that a insurance carrier could potentially offer in a given state. And they don't offer on average all of these plans. So, but plans A through N in that middle chart, those plans are available to all applicants. And as you'll see in that section that the Part B deductible is no longer covered. There's no check mark there. On the far right-hand side is plans C and F, and again, that is for individuals that were eligible for Medicare prior to January 1st of 2020. Most popular plans on these charts are plans G, and we're seeing some growth, continued growth with the plan N. So the check mark indicates that that is what the plan covers. And this is referenced from the Guide to Health Insurance that comes out from Medicare, from CMS each year. It's a great booklet. It really helps, explain all of the plans and what the costs are and everything with Medicare. You can also see an outline of coverage from the carriers, and it really does a nice job. They lay out what Medicare covers, what a Medicare supplement plan would cover, and then what the client would be left to cover if there's any out-of-pocket costs beyond that. So we can definitely share with you the Guide to Health Insurance booklet as well. So there are ways in which Medicare supplement insurance companies can, in a sense, get creative with their pricing, and that's by gender rating. They can have male, female, tobacco, non-tobacco, area rating. So looking at different demographics within a state, if it's more urban versus rural, they can look at discounts too, a household discount. If, let's say, a husband and wife are both applying for coverage, they would get a discount. Or if maybe the husband's just applying, but they are married, that could trigger a discount. If you have a wearable activity tracker, that could give you a discount. There's tons of different discounts that are available with Medicare supplement plans, which make it very attractive. Insurance companies may also look at risk. So they could look at build charts, and based on where they fall within the build chart could determine if they have a standard rating or maybe a class 1, class 2, which typically is, a rate up within the pricing. So, and also keep in mind with Medicare supplement plans, there are rate adjustments. It's very common practice, and there are usually rate adjustments about every 12 to 18 months. So if you're used to writing in different lines of business where there's no rate adjustments, just know that Medicare supplement plans naturally have rate adjustments about every year or so. And the reason why is it helps keep pace with the raising Medicare claim trends, as well as keeping up with those changes in the deductibles and copays that may adjust each year. So, but it is very common for rate adjustments. The last item I want to talk about today is the enrollment periods and scenarios that one may experience with a Medicare supplement plan. And again, this is referenced in that Guide to Health Insurance booklet as well. So an individual is in their open enrollment, meaning they're just getting into Medicare, they are turning 65, they're in that window, then they do not have to go through any underwriting. So it's a nice process. They simply just apply for coverage. Another situation that someone could avoid underwriting is if they're in a guarantee issue situation. So, and there's various different scenarios that one could fall and be considered guarantee issue. Maybe they are on their group plan and that plan is ending, or they're on a Medicare Advantage and they're in their first year of their trial right. So they're trying out a Medicare Advantage plan and they're in that 12-month period, the first 12 months, and they want to switch to a Medicare supplement. That would trigger a guarantee issue. So those are just a couple examples of what would be considered guarantee issue. There's quite a few more, and we can definitely help determine if one would fall into guarantee issue, open enrollment, or do they have to go through underwriting? Sometimes it can get a little confusing, but just trying to get the right answers there. If one does not fall into open enrollment or guarantee issue, then most likely they're going to have to go through the underwriting process. Now, underwriting consists of there's health questions on the application, so simply yes or no questions. They will look at a pharmaceutical screening of what medications they're taking, as well as some carriers do random health interviews. So that is the underwriting process. It's a very quick issue, usually a day turnaround, 2 days max. So a very fast issue. And they do have e-applications, all these carriers, and we can help and assist with that. So that does conclude the presentation here today. Just know that we can help here at seniorhealth@jetter.com, or you can call us at 800-228-0008, and we would be happy to help you in the Medicare market, as well as all the other lines of business that are listed there on the left-hand side of the screen. We've been working with producers since 1979. We have an underwriter in-house that can help with those clients that are having to go through the underwriting process, and maybe they have some health conditions or medications that they're taking. We have case management. In all of the lines of business that we work with, we have market specialists. As well, we have a new business specialists, and we do offer free E&O. We have leads. We work with the top carriers, giving the top commissions, and we can assist with e-applications and any way to help you really continue to grow your business in any way that you you need. So I will see now if there's any questions. I know I kind of went through it quickly. And yes, we will definitely send out this recording to the individuals who had registered for the call today. So yeah, we'll get that out to you. Just wait a couple minutes here to see if there's any other questions. I don't think I see any other questions come through, but if you happen to see any questions, just let us know. We're always here available. We do offer some training for, I believe you're asking for the prescription drug plans. They do have, we do have some materials that we can provide to you. I'll check here internally to see what we have available. Those plans are always changing each year. So, and a lot of times we will work directly with the carriers, as there's so many different carriers that offer prescription drug plans. So we can definitely help out with that. And see what best fits, you know, in the area in which you're selling or which you're marketing. So the question did come through asking if we offer any type of training for prescription drug plans. So we do help with that.
Kristen, this is Rob. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Rob with Art Jetter and Company. One question I see that came up, it's actually emailed to me from a producer wanting to know about health conditions and what health conditions they should be alert to that could be possibly declined.
When it comes to Medicare supplement plans, I'm assuming that's what you're asking about. If they have, you know, recent type of surgeries or procedures, cancer, if they have, you know, diabetes, they have to stay within the A1C counts. And I think, you know, that kind of changes from carrier to carrier. But it's really simple, straightforward. You know, if you're needing assistance in your home, if you know, we can provide the underwriting questions, and then a lot of the carriers have a really nice underwriting guide, as well as the declinable drug lists that they consider, you know, to be a decline for that company. But that's where our underwriter definitely comes into play with that. Hope that helps.
Excellent.
That's a good question. All right, I don't see any other questions. Rob, did you have any other questions that come through on your end?
Maybe just mention what tools do we offer to help producers with quotes and providing their clients with instant quotes for Medicare supplements?
Exactly. So we do, thank you, Rob. We do have a couple different quoting platforms that we utilize here. Out on Jitter.com, we've got quoting software for the Medicare supplements, as well as some of the complementary products that go along with Medicare supplements, or a lot of agents typically sell dental insurance, as well as maybe final expense or hospital indemnity type plans. Then we also work with Trusty.care, and that is a really neat platform in the sense that you can run illustrations and quotes for Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage, and prescription drug plans. And as you work with clients, you can get the quotes to see what's available in that area based on, say, the medications they're taking. And then you can see what's the most competitive in that market, in that area. You can also, as you work with those clients, you can run the quote, you can enroll them as well. And then you can also see each year, you can go back and revisit that same site and see if there's any changes with that client's medications, but you can do a batch process, a really quick update to see if the plans in the area have changed. Maybe your client was on a particular Mutual Omaha's plan, Part D drug plan this year, maybe next year, you know, their drugs are changing, and so it'd be a better fit for them to go with another company. And this tool does all of that work for you, which can save you hours, weeks of trying to figure out what would be the best plan for you. So we can definitely go through that and explain how that tool works as well. And they also have call recording too. So with that new regulation that's out there as well for the Part D as well as the Medicare Advantage plans. So we do have, it's called trustee.care. So give us a call at the 800 number, 800-228-0008, and we can give you more details in regards to trustee.care. We also have another quoting platform that's just located right on our website under the quotes and apps at jetter.com. So, but we can kind of give you all those details when we reach out to you. All right, well, I think that does conclude the call. Let everybody get back. We try to keep these as short as possible, so I appreciate everybody being on the call today. And if there's anything else that you need, we can, we're right here. We're here to help. All right, thank you, everyone. Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.